Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you 10 common mistakes knights make when hunting. The idea behind this video is to make it easier to identify mistakes and to be able to correct them in order to improve your gameplay. These mistakes might seem like they don't impact your gameplay, but I guarantee you that correcting them can drastically improve your gameplay and make you a better player overall. Let's begin with mistake number 1, missing your auto attack. This is the most common mistake knights have. Failing to use your auto attack makes you lose that extra damage that can add up over time to make a difference in a hunt. It can be life saving when you're trying to escape a trap and need that extra damage to one creature to live. If you're using imbues, mastering the auto attack gives you a huge boost in mana and life leech, so for those knights who always struggle with their mana pool, I advise you to check when you're hunting if you are auto attacking as you should. If you're struggling with this, one advice I can give you is to be patient and wait for the auto attack to come up first, and when you see it, then cast the spell you want to use. It gets easier over time to time the auto attack and cast the spell shortly after it. Mistake number 2. Not using potions or objects every second. It is not a secret that when it comes to hunting in tough places, knights are always mana hungry. Ideally, you should be using an object every second. With this I mean using mana potions, health potions or runes whenever you can, since the cooldown for objects is just 1 second. This is a mistake that can easily get overlooked because you might think that you are using the objects in time when you actually aren't. These fractions of a second can add up very quickly, and in the end you would end up having low mana or health or even both. To correct it, you can practice your timing by having your potions in the action bar with the cooldowns displayed. That way you can get used to the tempo and use the visuals of it to time your potions and objects correctly. If your mana is full, then see if you can use any health potions to keep both health and mana full. Although if you want to take a savings approach here, it can be okay to take your time to heal with cheap means such as EXURA or cheap potions. But considering you're not, you should have your mana and life full as long as possible, and if you're confident with your mana and health at that moment, consider using attack objects such as runes to boost even more your damage, and also get the extra mana and life leech from them, which is always a plus. Mistake number 3. Not using EXURA and health potion at the same time. A lot of people think these two cannot be used together and end up missing a good healing combo, which can be life-saving, especially in tough situations. A potion is an object, while the EXURA is a healing spell. Both can be used at the same time as long as you have a health potion and enough mana to cast the spell. You can check it for yourself by using normal health potions and EXURA so you can get the feeling of both of them working together. This is something you have to be careful with, because doing it multiple times in a row can leave you with no mana since you're using it and not refilling it properly, because you're using your object cooldown in healing potions. If you think you are likely to use this combo, make sure beforehand you have enough mana to cast your spells. Mistake number 4. Not attacking every 2 seconds, or better said, not knowing cooldown times. Ideally, you should be attacking creatures every 2 seconds to maximize damage. If you happen to not be able to cast attack spells every 2 seconds, it can be because you are missing something in your spell rotation that is making you lose time when attacking. Also, it could be that one of the previous mistakes described in the previous points has happened to you. By the way, I have a video explaining the spell rotation. If you want to see it, check the video card. One example is when a knight waits to be completely surrounded to start using the attack spells even when the mana is full. You are missing some precious damage just because you are waiting on a few creatures to completely surround you. Sometimes you cannot attack every 2 seconds because the creatures are making you spam health potions and you get careless on the mana. If this happens, make sure to check it out if you're not making the previous mistakes pointed out, and if that's not the case, then evaluate if you can handle the place you're at. Mistake number 5. Not using UTITO tempo properly. UTITO tempo is a fundamental spell for knights as it boosts your damage considerably. It lasts 10 seconds and can be recasted every 2 seconds to reset the timer. In these 10 seconds you can cast up to 5 spells, as long as you cast them with a minimal cooldown that is possible between them, which is 2 seconds. The common mistakes are to mistime the recast of the spell, which is a timing error, or casting the UTITO after you cast the attack spell, which most of the times is a mechanical error, or the worst of all, not using it at all. The drawbacks of these spells are almost none, as shielding is pretty useless right now, so boosting your attacks is something every knight should aim for. Mistake number 6. Not looting correctly. This applies to every vocation, but knights have to excel at this to maximize their damage without putting themselves in danger, since you're going to tank all the creatures that you lure. If the creatures you're hunting are too strong for you, an overlure can easily get you killed, and luring less creatures that you can handle can result in less experience and loot. To become better at this, you should test out the creatures you want to hunt. Ideally, you should get no less than 8 creatures to maximize your damage, but this should not compromise your health and mana points. If you find yourself struggling with 8 or less, then you should consider not hunting there because the place might be too difficult for you to handle. Although there are places where killing less than 8 creatures can still be worth it, so always analyze and decide for yourself if it is okay to keep hunting like this. On the other hand, if 8 creatures are easy enough for you, you might consider overloading to keep your damage up when you start killing the first creatures that you have been attacking. That way you always keep a high damage output until the very end of the lure. This way you become highly efficient with your damage output and can achieve higher experience ratios. The idea is to always check how difficult a spot can be for you so you can assess how aggressive you can be while luring creatures in a hunt. Mistake number 7. Spending time looting. Looting is an everyday task for every vocation, but knights carry most of the responsibility since they are the ones close enough to the bodies to execute the action. Unfortunately, many knights spend precious time looting, resulting in slower hunts that can drastically affect the experience ratios. The most common mistake while looting is to wait for all the creatures to die to start looting, and this is wrong. The most efficient way of looting consists of looting the creature as soon as it dies. This way you only end up spending time looting on the last creature that dies. A pro tip here: to make your hunts even faster, you can keep moving to the next place with the remaining creatures with low health as soon as you loot the rest. That way you are closer to the next group of creatures, so you end up spending even less time between groups of them. Some don't even loot the remaining creatures, and kill them from a far distance with runes or spells like EXURA, sacrificing loot in exchange of that precious time that can be used to kill the next group of creatures faster. As you can see, becoming a master of looting can save you enormous amount of time, which can result in better experience ratios while hunting. Mistake number 8. Not positioning yourself correctly in hunts or team hunts. This is mostly seen in team hunts, but it can also happen in solo hunts. The knight has an important role in the positioning of the hunt because he is always in the center of the action. A bad positioning can make it impossible for other vocations to do their jobs. For example, a knight that has an obstacle, for example a wall, between the druid and him, will make it impossible for the druid to heal you. Or positioning in diagonal corridors will make it almost impossible for sorcerers to use their spells. Not to mention that you can also overlure, which is explained in the mistake number 6. So always keep an eye on your surroundings and find a position that is comfortable not just to you, but to the rest of the team as well. Mistake number 9. Not using EXURA correctly. EXURA is one of the most important spells for knights. It is used most of the times while team hunting. Unfortunately, many knights don't use it properly. EXURA shares cooldown with UTITO tempo. It's a 2-second cooldown between them, so the biggest challenge is to be able to use both spells without interfering with each other. If you miss the EXURA, it can make a certain creature to run away or switch targets, which can result in a slight delay in your hunt. While team hunting, you sometimes rely on your teammates to lure the creatures to you, so you have to time correctly when you should cast it. Mastering this will guarantee you a swift and safe hunt because the creatures will focus you and nobody else, keeping the vulnerable players safe. Mistake number 10. Not supporting in team hunts. A knight is able to help the other vocations with the use of runes or spells. Not doing so can result in uncomfortable and even riskier hunts. A good example is when a knight is able to throw a bomb rune to help a mage position themselves faster, or use a magic wall in a way that allows your team to find a good spot for them. To learn about this, you should always pay attention to your surroundings and understand how they can affect your teammates so you can find ways to help them. It can be complicated sometimes to support your teammates, because you have to be in a good situation to do so, but achieving this can make a huge difference in a hunt. Correcting at least one of these mistakes can greatly improve your skills as a knight, and you will end up having better results and enjoying more your hunts and evocation. These mistakes can also happen in other vocations, but the examples I show in this video are more oriented to knights with the aim of improving and correcting them. And that's it for this video. I hope it can help you correct these mistakes if you have them, and if it does, remember to hit the like button. And like always, I hope you do well and see you in the next video. Bye bye.